Episode 15. Tim, we're here, buddy. How you doing?
I'm trying not to laugh.
You're trying.
What?
Like, I'm not gonna laugh. I'm not gonna laugh.
I'm not gonna laugh. I was like, oh god, I don't know why. You guys just have to get used to it. I'm probably gonna laugh every time he says what the episode is. So
it is what it is. It's part of the show. People come
part
to
of
expect it.
This is the way that Jesus made me, and that's what I'm gonna go with.
Yeah, share your joy is what I was gonna say. Just share your joy.
That's my joy. Just the laughter that comes from my heart and my awkwardness. So, with that being said, I'll start with me. I just got back from LA.
Yeah,
I was out there for a conference, and what we were out there for was this conference, and it was good. It was nice because it's so cold here, and it was like 80 degrees there.
Oh.
So I felt amazing.
Yeah.
So what I did one day, well, I'll take a step back. It didn't start so great because I did a late flight out there, so I would arrive around 11 o'clock, and then just check in and have the next day to do whatever. And when I arrived, I found out they had sent my 2 bags to Atlanta, not into LA. So I was like, oh no, what am I gonna do? I'm at this business conference, and Billy knows I completely overpack. And I had nothing but my backpack with my laptop in it, and that's about it.
Hold up. You don't pack a spare clothes in your backpack that you keep with you?
No, I don't. I probably should, but no. The backpack is meant for other things.
Oh, dude, I always have some extra underwear. I got all my medicine. I got some pants. I got a shirt. I always stuff it in there because just in case, man, just in case.
Well, I figured I was wearing a pants and shirt, so I at least had something to wear. I always keep my medicine with me, so that's not a problem.
Yeah,
but
that's good. That's good.
Maybe I'll start taking a pair of Billy's underwear in my backpack too.
Hey,
I mean, if he's handing them out, I'm getting them. So I'll be happy to put a pair of my underwear in your backpack. Anyhow, so that was a whole debacle because the next day I was supposed to go. I wanted to work out. I wanted to go out and see the town a little bit. But I was on edge about these stupid suitcases. They arrived the next day, and then I had to fight with them over and over again when they were going to send them out to the hotel. And they kept saying, "Oh, they're coming, they're coming." And then it didn't come till 10 o'clock that night. So I was held a little bit hostage of things to do because there was somebody. But we were in an area. We were right next to the Crypto.com arena. That's where the Lakers play, literally next door. And they have this place called LA Live there, which is really a lot of fun, a lot of restaurants, food, experiences. But me and my family and my dad, ever since we've grown up, been huge Lakers fans. And so I got to go out there and take the pictures of their statues. They have the Kobe statue, Kareem, and then rest in peace, Kobe. Yesterday was the day that we lost him in that horrible helicopter crash, along with his daughter and so many others. So just wanted to say that when thinking about him. There was the one you're gonna love. Matter of fact, I'll have you put it in the show notes. It's Shaquille O'Neal's one.
I was waiting for it.
Him hanging up, and his is cool because he's hanging off the building off a rim. It's elevated. It's so cool.
Yes,
it's awesome. No, so I got to do that and drive around one of those little scooters you can rent. You know how you scan them on the app. Yeah. So I was flying around on the sidewalks, just checking things out, and ate a street hot dog from it was the Mexican hot dogs that have the bacon wrapped around them. Ate one of those. It was a good. I needed that uplift after being so depressed about this because the flight there too. I had to run because my connection was going to be crappy because we were delayed leaving. It was a disaster getting there. So I tell you that much. But after we were there,
jeez,
you never know you're going to be traveling. So. Yeah. It was crazy. And then for the first time ever, I took a red eye home. I was supposed to leave originally on Saturday, but it was 2 connecting flights. And I was going to be traveling most of the day. So I looked for a red eye. We left around 10 and we landed a little around 4:30 in the morning. So anyhow, I made it home alive. I didn't fall asleep and got to rest pretty much the whole weekend. So that is my weekend.
Awesome.
How's everything going with you?
Man, it's good. We got all of our windows put in. I mean, it did take the whole weekend. But the crew,
do you love them?
I do. They're super nice. They better be super nice for what we paid for them. But
yeah,
I will say the crew that they sent out, it's the first time we had contractors that actually did work, and they worked their tails off. And when they were here, they did everything they were supposed to, and they did it awesome. And so couldn't be happier with that.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, handing them the check afterwards, that was kind of.
It was some heavy lifting. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we got brand new windows throughout the entire house. And so last night I was busy like putting the blinds back up and the curtains and all that kind of stuff. And so, had to make sure we get those all up. So
you were doing real man's work.
Yeah, I just don't want people peeking in, So
there's a lot to see there at the Parchment House. So
I'm telling you,
keep it all locked down.
I don't want to have to put pants on, walk across and get some water. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't wear pants on recordings either, guys. So just so you know,
that has happened before. We were like, "Hey, you show me your jacket." And I'm like, "Dude, I can't stand up right now." Go check out our top 5 favorite TV shows. Yeah, you'll see that,
and you'll see what we're talking about.
Yeah,
that's really funny. Do you have anything coming up this week? Anything exciting?
What we got going on this week? It's just kind of back in the normal kind of just go through the flow, get back on schedule, which is great for like my weight loss journey.
Yeah,
because getting thrown out of when the girls are off, it's it's easier to plan out my meals and do my exercises and my workouts when they're at school and I have a schedule and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to getting that because I have a goal. Okay. We're going on the Utopia of the Seas in just a couple of weeks. And
looking forward to it.
I'm super excited. They have this incredible dry slide that is just ridiculously huge. It's like, have you seen the pictures of that?
Oh yeah, I've done one of their slides like that.
Oh my gosh. And so the weight limit is 330 pounds to do that. And I am so close to that, y'all. I am like in the 330s and I have a couple more weeks and I think I'm going to hit it and I'm going to do this dang slide. That is my goal. And so I just got to focus.
And then you'll
hard.
Travel and get bloated and it'll go up to like 340 and you're like, son of
No, see, the thing is I'm going to be taking the stairs on the cruise. That's kind of what I do. Now that I can walk, try not to go super, super crazy. It is what it is. But
no,
man,
you'll be fine.
I'm going for that slide, bro. Going for that
All
slide.
Right, man. Well, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
You're going to do it. And I'm going to be there to cheer you on as you go down that slide.
That's right.
That's hilarious. Well, we've got a great episode ahead of us today. Are you excited to roll this out with everybody?
Yeah, this one's going to be super fun.
Well, there ain't nothing to it but to do it. Are you ready, my friend?
You better believe it. Let's get into all the everything, y'all.
All the everything, we've got it all. We've got it all, small, weird, or tall. So grab your snacks, sit back, don't stress. Cause Tim and Billy talk about the randomness. Information prone to UFOs will take you where the weirdness goes. It's two guys talking way too loud about stuff that makes no sense, but we're kinda proud.
Well, welcome to the show today, everybody. We're so excited to have you back for another amazing episode of All the Everything podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Tim Sawhook, and I'm joined by my beautiful Alabama boyfriend.
What?
Okay, he's not really my boyfriend. Alabama friend.
I got a ring on this finger.
I got rings on like 2 fingers. I'm really confused. Wow. Yeah, see, I always try to freestyle those things, guys, and just whatever flies out.
Just whatever happens.
Yeah, even I'm amazed where it lands sometimes. I'm like, oh, okay, that's where we ended. I don't know if I've shared on here before about my concussion that I had. I got in a car accident on my birthday.
On your birthday.
I got rear-ended. I suffered a really bad concussion. And I'm still dealing with it today. So sometimes the words I want to say don't come out as clear or as fast as I want. So I'm just saying that. So if you ever hear me reading a story or something, and it seems like, why is he struggling with the word "the"? It's because it's in my head, and I just can't get it out quick enough. But we're working on that. So anyhow, I just wanted that disclaimer from me when I was calling Billy my boyfriend, when I meant to say best friend or friend, and I couldn't get either one out. So anyhow, enough personal information about me. So Billy Perchman, my friend, how are you today?
Man, I'm good, brother.
Dude, we are off to a start already.
We're off. Hey, this is podcast gold for you all.
Oh, absolutely. If you kept in half the stuff that you edit out, I think people would actually think it's really funny. You guys, let's just listen to my part 2 of the true crime where I talked about the Alcatraz escape. I was on the struggle bus reading that. Billy did a magical job editing it back together. So thank you, Billy. You must have been drinking, but I don't know how I get through this with this guy.
No, it was you did a great job, man. You did a great job. That was a really good episode.
Goodness gracious.
I'm really excited about this episode. This one's gonna be super fun.
Yep. Billy, I'm gonna let you announce it. I'm gonna put it up on the screen. Here we go. Right. Today's topic is
Tim and Billy's Tall Tales. Except, hey, they're all real, we promise.
It's a guarantee.
It is a guarantee. And so, yeah, these are going to be just really funny stories that happen throughout our lives, or really epic things that happen that, it's just stories we love to tell. And so it'll be a chance that you get to learn a little bit more about our lives and things we've gone through in a fun and hopefully entertaining way.
All right, Billy. I know you can spin an epic tale from time to time, even lie to us like you did on the urban legends. You made up stories that didn't even exist and we all bought it. But like we said today, they're all real.
They're all real.
And we're going to put them together for you guys. And I think I'm going to let Billy kick off story time. Are you ready, Billy?
I'm ready. I've got a really nice little short story for you.
All right.
One of my favorite places in the world, we've talked about this. We've actually had full episodes about this, it is Disney World. Mm-hmm. It is one of my favorite places. I've been, I couldn't even tell you the number of times that I've been. I've lost count. I couldn't even tell you the number of times my children have been. Mm-hmm. It's one of our favorite places in the world. And I love to go to Ohana. Ohana is so good. Oh, if you don't know what Ohana is, it is a restaurant at the Polynesian Village, which is right across the bay from the Magic Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in the mornings they have breakfast you can have Lilo and Stitch there, and then Mickey, and he's all dressed in his Hawaiian outfit. It's awesome. So they have, you have really good, you get your Mickey waffles, you have your basic breakfast. It's a character breakfast. But at dinner time, it's a whole nother beast.
It's so good.
So good. Okay. So at dinner time at Ohana, it's all you can eat. It's almost kind of like those Brazilian steakhouses where they come and they just keep bringing you meat. But they have like shrimp, they have steak, they have chicken. They'll just keep coming. And you're like, dude, I don't want any more of that. But the real gold is the fixins that you get before. They start you off with this coconut bread. It's really good.
Oh, that's so good.
So good. And then they bring you some wontons. You get some chicken legs. You get some noodles.
Mm-hmm.
And these noodles, they took them off of the menu before when they were coming back from COVID. And everybody just went in just a complete uproar, right? About the noodles not coming back. And I started, what are those petition things? Like change.com or whatever.
Or yeah.
I started this petition, like bring back the noodles, and we got a lot of kickback on that, and they brought back the noodles. And so I don't know if that was just Disney saying, hey, we're going to take this off and then we're going to be the heroes and bring it back, just kind of that. But hey, I feel like I had a huge part of bringing the noodles back to Ohana.
It was a noodles revolution.
It was. I say all that. Like I said, the Polynesian is across the bay, and My wife and I, we went and had dinner at Ohana, and we were stuffed. And then you end with, I can't forget the bread pudding, y'all. The bread pudding is so
I
good.
forgot about. I usually don't make it to dessert because I'm so full. But I've had it multiple times.
Yeah, and so we decided we wanted to go watch the fireworks after having supper, and so we hop on the monorail, which will take you from the resort to the front of the Magic Kingdom. And so we get on the monorail, and of course this is before the fireworks, and so whenever it's before or after the fireworks, the monorail, the boats, the buses, transportation is packed out.
Yeah.
So you're shoved in the monorail. There's so many people in there. And so we're in the monorail and we're riding to the Magic Kingdom, and the doors open, and we just get off and we walk off the monorail, and we're walking into the Magic Kingdom, and I start going down the ramp, and all of a sudden I hear, "Hey, somebody forgot their phone," coming from the monorail, and I'm like, "Oh snap!" And so first thing I do is I check my pockets. Okay, I have my phone. I'm like, "Hey babe, do you have your phone?" And she's like, "Yeah, I got my phone." And then I turn around to look at the girl yelling, and I realize, hey, I'm the closest one to her, but I'm quite far. Like I'm still a good distance away. And so I kind of like just take a couple steps, like I'm going to try to come and grab the phone or whatever, but then the doors start closing, and I'm nowhere near the doors. And I'm like, oh no, one of these people in front of us have left their phone on there and in the door. So I just stop. And then, I mean, at the last possible second, this girl just flings the phone out of the monorail.
Oh my God.
Like I said, I am nowhere close to, so I just take off, and I do not know how I got there, but it just lands magically. Just I'm in a magical place, but just perfect. It is like Tua Tagovailoa throwing that 2nd and 26 pass to win the national championship to Devontae Smith. Just beautiful.
Billy, why do you have to ruin a story with Alabama? I'm so into the story.
I just need to let the people know how epic this catch was. And
got it.
What I did not realize was there was about 1,000 people on the other monorail platform that watched the entire thing. And as soon as I caught that, they just all go crazy. I mean, I've never felt so cool in my entire life. I'm like dancing. I'm like doing a touchdown celebration. I spiked the phone on the ground. It shatters. No, I'm just kidding.
For nothing. And then everyone starts booing you.
Oh yeah. Like, no, that would have been a thing though. But no, like I said, I've never felt so cool in my life. And to be able to present this non-broken phone to the person that forgot, and they're like, "Oh my gosh." I'm like, if you only knew how close that phone came to no longer existing.
That is amazing.
But that was a pretty epic story, something that is just burned into my soul, that will forever give me cool points. Yeah. So that's
you should earn all the cool points for that too, Billy.
Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, that's that was my my kickoff to our epic tales, our tall tales, but they're real. So there you go.
I love it. Well, Billy, your epic save of the phone will go down in history as being like a superhero to those people and to the people watching. You know how boring it is standing there waiting for the train. So you really brought out the entertainment for them.
Thank you. I try to provide service, to the folks,
to those in need.
Yes, that's right.
Speaking of Ohana, you said chicken legs. He means chicken wings, by the way.
Chicken wing. Did I say chicken leg? That is a rookie mistake.
And then chicken you said wontons, and they're actually like spring rolls. Not spring rolls. They're dumplings.
No, dumplings. They're
dumplings.
They're Yes.
It's
They're
dumplings.
dumplings. They're dumplings. Yes.
So I was just clarifying for the people. They're not
Yes.
legs. They're unbelievable tasty chicken wings.
Chicken wings.
And dumplings. So anyhow.
Yep. And you can get all those fixings outside at the bar if you didn't want or have a reservation to Ohana. So that
good tip.
Yeah, there you go. It's a little
pro.
That's right.
One thing I used to always say when I would sit down for our Ohana dinner is, I am here to ruin the family name. I will eat as much as I possibly can before being asked to leave politely. And my wife really liked when I would yell that, ruin the family name.
I'm sure she does.
I mean, Billy, I'm a big guy too, man. I could put down the food and I would eat until I couldn't eat anymore there. Me and my son, we would just kill it. And my daughter. Leslie too, but not nearly as gluttonous as the rest of us, though. So, yeah, Ohana is amazing. Thank you for getting the noodles back. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. That is just another service that I provide.
So if you want anything changed in life, send it to Billy. He'll start at change.org. And he can't guarantee the same success as the noodles, but he'll give it his best shot.
Yeah, I will. I'll fight for you.
What do you charge for that?
Just just a gratitude and a smile.
Oh, just a wink and a smile. All right. All right. Stop flirting with me, Billy. All right. I'm gonna take it to my first story. And now, so Billy was talking about being in the most magical place in the world, which is, Walt Disney World or Disneyland. But I'm going to start my stories in Walt Disney World. So we used to go, we went constantly as a family when they were little. And like Billy said, countless trips. Mm-hmm. And we used to love to stay at the Wilderness Lodge.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, we were actually the flag family of the day, where you get to go put up the flags in the morning.
Wow.
So that was very exciting. Yeah. But that's not the story. So the story is, I think we had taken a day off from the parks and we were just going to chill at the pool, the good old pool day. We had been in and out of the pool most of the day. We had our kids with us who were younger, so they were playing, splashing around, and they were in a safe spot so we could see them, right? So Leslie and I are just kind of sitting on the edge of the pool. You have your arms up and you're just sitting back, relaxing. And I'm looking around, checking out the pool and seeing everybody. And oh my God. Then I glance over at Leslie. She's to my right. And by the way, before I tell the story, I did get my wife's permission to tell the story. Just so you know. Anyhow, so you might know where this is going. Anyhow, so I look over to her on my right, and she's laying there, legs kind of spread a little bit, just chilling in the pool, like taking the sun in. And I look over and I said, "Oh my God, Leslie, your vagina is hanging out." She's like, "What?" She had just been chilling. Her swimsuit just had come to the side, and it was out. It was out there.
I was not expecting that.
I was like, "Leslie, how long have you been like that?" She's like, "Oh my God, I have no idea. I just traumatized all these children in the pool." Come to think of it, there were a lot of dads hanging out over there. Okay.
Oh my God.
But that is like one of the most infamous stories about Leslie. She's got some other ones too, I'll tell eventually. But I know it's not really my story, but I was a key person in the story, and you wouldn't believe it unless you were. It was epically. We laugh about it now. It's a story that she's told many, many times.
Sure, just
not on the podcast. So.
I was expecting the top. I wasn't expecting the bottoms.
Yep.
That's where I thought we were going.
Everything is magical in Disney.
That's right.
She was having a magical day and just relaxing and just really taking in the breeze, not really paying attention where the breeze was coming or going. And and that's how it ended up. So
and yeah, we did pause the podcast so you could call Leslie to get permission. And let me just say that was, that's the experience that you gain being married for 25 years?
27 this year.
27.
I know, yeah. We're so old.
I'm telling you. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But yeah, I don't even know how many. I think we're like about to be 18, so we're right up there. So
oh, nice.
Yeah. But yeah, that's an experience right there. Get that permission.
Yeah, this is not one of those things where you act first and ask for permission later.
Yeah.
Not when you're married and you're in the same house together all the time. You don't want to make that mistake. So, guys out there and girls, always just ask for permission instead of have to stumble over your life about how you messed up and told a story about how her vagina was out at a Disney World pool. So, and I never realized that we'd be talking about vaginas on here, but here we are.
Here we are.
And here we go. So, Billy, as we ride that wave to your next story, what do you got for us?
All right, I'm going to take you back to the days of my youth. Growing up in church and being part of the youth group, that was just a huge part of my life. And when I must have been a junior in high school when this story takes place. So the church that I went to was back in Big Point, Mississippi. It's a church that I started going to in the 6th grade when we moved out there. If you heard our story about surviving, you know that I moved back and forth between Big Point, Mississippi, and Goshen, Mississippi. When I became a junior in high school. And so I was back in Goshen, but I still went to church out in Big Point. It's about 25 minutes away from each other. So, I just drive back and forth. It was no big deal. But we had this Christmas retreat. It was this big conference in Panama City Beach, Florida.
Nice.
That was hosted by Scott Dawson. He did this big conference every year, and he might still do. He might still do it now. But so we were going to this big conference. But the only problem is, we had just lost our youth minister, and we had an interim that left as well, and so they missed the deadline to sign up for it, and so the room blocks at the hotel were filled, and so our church had to buy or rent a couple of condo rooms, one for the guys, one for the girls.
Right.
And this was a really special trip for me because, like I said, I had two worlds. I had Goshen and Big Point. And from each set in life, I had my two original best friends that when I was a child, that was always in Goshen. It was always a big part of my life. And then I had all of my best friends and friends at my church in Big Point. This was the one trip, the first time ever that my two friends from Goshen were coming on the trip with me, with all of my friends from Big Point. They all got along. We would hang out, here and there, but this was like the first time we were all together. And so it was like a really special trip for us. And we were on the beach. We had this condo. The only problem, like I said, our youth minister had just left. And so we had this older couple who really didn't have any business chaperoning a youth trip. It's one of those, just to kind of give you an example. I got the opportunity to preach a lot when I was in high school at my church because the pastor knew that's something I wanted to do. And so he would let me preach on like Wednesday nights, just to get experience and to be able to grow and to learn and stuff. And this one guy that was being the chaperone, just him and his wife, those were the only chaperones on this particular trip. He approached me afterwards one time and was telling me that I was being disrespectful because when I pray, a lot of times I say daddy, like Heavenly Father, Abba, it translates to daddy. Basically, like it's more than father, it's just more personal. And so when I pray, sometimes I say daddy. And he just got all over me for saying I was disrespectful and all this. And I mean, I know he could have seen just the blood just rush down my face. Just the, oh my goodness. But and so just to kind of give you an example, if you go to there's so many stories like Southern Baptist churches where they're the older generation and the youth just fight. And so just picture this is the couple that's leading or chaperoning this trip. So that to set that all up, that's kind of the mindset that we're in. So So we get to Panama City, and we're in our rooms are directly like, if you think of an apartment, if like the two apartments just face each other, like one side is one. Yeah. So that's kind of like the condos. One side is the girls, one side is the guys. And so, we're messing with the girls. We hit a walkie-talkie in a plant, and we're like talking to them, and like, just as youth do, just being silly and goofy or whatever.
Stupid, yeah.
Well, that night, like I said, we're right by the beach. Some of the kids decide they want to sneak out and go to the beach. And so I, having somewhat discernment and common sense, decide, hey, probably not the best idea. So I stay back, and I just go to sleep. I don't tell. I'm not snitches. Snitches get stitches, or whatever the saying is.
Right.
Yeah. I'm just. But the dude wakes up and realizes there's missing kids, and so he locks the door and waits for them to come back and locks them out, basically.
Oh no!
So there's already drama, which is on them. That was not anything. He was in the right. They snuck out, whatever. So that just kind of heightens everything for the rest of the trip.
Right.
Well, we go back and forth from the conference to the condo and stuff like that. And, they're messing with him while he's sleeping. The kids are. He's getting angrier and angrier or whatever. So it's pretty epic. I mean, it's, they are messing with him, to be fair to him on that part. But me and my best friend Trey, we walk into this room, the living room, and my other friend Mark is asleep on the couch bed, and there's like the young youth, like the first time ever, just from turning from 6th to 7th grade, that they're on their first trip or whatever. They're watching TV, right? And so we had just come in the room, me and Trey. Trey, by the way, was one of the ones that did sneak out.
Oh, you just sold Trey out, man.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. It's all right. But yeah, Trey was one of the ones that did sneak out. So he's already on the list, right? But me and him go in to the living room, and we sit down on the couch. And as soon as we sit down on the couch, we look at the TV, which was just a normal program. The 7th grader is watching it.
Right.
And the scene changes. And all of a sudden, it's just 100% real corn, if you would, for the social media purposes. Replace the C with the P. There you go.
Gotcha.
I mean, and me and Trey, like, the second we see that, the second it happens, we take a breath, like about to scream, like, what are like, what are you about? And I mean, the second all of this went down, this guy comes around the corner and walks in the room.
Oh no.
And so it looks like we are all watching this, besides my friend that's sound asleep on the bed. And let me tell you, just, they would not believe us that it wasn't us.
Right.
It wasn't, it was this kid right here watching this, on there. And it just was horrible. It was just a miserable trip. And I had my two friends, they're on this trip that, they weren't even part of this whole thing. But then he's calling parents and stuff like this. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But yeah. And so that was our epic Panama City Beach failure of a Christmas conference or whatever. That will go down in infamy of just lots of laughter, lots of funness, and then just pure,
Oh, that's awful.
I'm telling you. But oh man, but it will always be scarred in my brain. And it wasn't even good court. It was just like two old people. I'm like, what the heck?
Was it that couple? Is that who it was?
Oh my God. It was about like
oh God.
Yeah. So
wait a minute. This is a follow-up question. You saying those kids were watching that?
The 7th grader was. Like
he's the one who put it on the TV.
Yes, he was the one watching it. He knew what it was. We had no idea because like like I said, when we came in, it was just normal people just talking like on TV, and then all of a sudden it just boom, and then I mean everything just went down at once, and it was insane.
So it kind of happened to you.
Yeah, it did. It did. I mean, oh my gosh, I know it looked bad, and then on the way back, the wife was like, "I thought y'all were good Christian boys," and I'm like, "You're not gonna believe us. Whatever. Come on now."
Yeah, as much as you're gonna waste your breath on that one.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it would be hard to deny. Like, if you walked in on the same thing, you'd be like, "You're full of crap." Like, I'm not an idiot.
Yeah.
You clearly were watching it. Yeah,
but I promise on everything good. That's how it went down.
I believe you. I believe you. So. Now, were you just upset because it was really bad corn, or would you been happier with better?
Well, because that's it would have probably made it worth it better if it was good. But
all right.
Oh gosh,
sorry to put you on the spot with that one, but it's the way you phrase it. Like, it wasn't even good. I'm like, okay,
it was.
So,
it was nasty.
So if it was good, you would have admitted to it. Yeah, we watched this.
Yeah, no. So.
Oh, what a lousy trip.
Yeah, it was a trip indeed.
Oh my gosh, that is crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. I'm going to give you one of my stories, and this happened to me around Halloween time.
Ooh.
But let me give you a little lead up into the Halloween day story.
Okay.
So we talked about me being a stay-at-home dad, you know,
right.
And if you haven't listened to that episode, go back and check that one out with me and Billy sharing our stories. And, you know, being a stay-at-home dad, you're at home a lot. So just, it's in the word, stay at home. So you're home a lot. And even if you, my daughter was in preschool, so, you know, I drop her off. So I was in the house by myself a lot. That happened. And I swear to you, I would always hear footsteps running up and down the stairs. And then I'd be like, what in God's name did I just hear? You know, and then I would hear it again. And you'd hear noises in the house and stuff. And I thought I was just kind of crazy, actually. And I would tell my wife, and she's like, "Oh, that's probably the dog going up and down the stairs." And I was like, well, you know, to be fair, I wasn't watching the dog every 5 seconds, so maybe. But then it just happened way too much. And again, I think Leslie thought I was crazy because I was like, there's like a ghost in our house. So one morning, this has happened for like a year or so, by the way. But one morning, I'm getting my daughter Lauren ready for preschool. And, you know, I was doing her hair like a good dad does. She's right in front of the mirror or upstairs in the bathroom. And I'm braiding or combing her hair or whatever. And all of a sudden, I hear the bumping all the way up the stairs. And I was like, oh, God. And Lauren says, "Oh, my gosh, Daddy, what was that noise?" And I was like, "You heard it? Thank you, God. Somebody else heard that noise." And the dog was already upstairs with us. So there was no dog. There was nobody else in the house. And I was just finally amazed, like, oh, my God, someone finally heard this noise. And it's not just me. Now, since then, I don't hear it quite as much. But I still hear it. I hear noises all the time in the place when there's no one here. So they must be a nice ghost because they really haven't done any harm or anything if that's the case. So that's part of the story, okay? But that's not the story. That just gives you a little idea about our house. So let me pivot to Halloween night. Kids are young. My wife would usually take them around the neighborhood, and I would pass out the candy. Now, I maybe have mentioned this before, but I'm a huge fan of Halloween. I love the movies. I love the time of year. I love the scariness. So I would always decorate our yard like a graveyard. I would put huge spider webs all over the front porch and make it spooky. I would have a smoke machine and a strobe light going. It was a whole vibe, and then Halloween music playing and all kinds of fun stuff. So they're walking around out doing their thing, and I'm sitting here looking, and I don't know if you remember this, Billy, but for a while there it was super popular that people were downloading the ghost app tracker, like a track ghosts. Did you remember this?
I kind of vaguely do. I vaguely do.
It was hot there for a minute where people were downloading this ghost tracker app. So I downloaded it, just killing time watching people coming and going with candy, and it would show up like green, yellow, red dots on the thing. I don't remember what that stood for anymore. And so it shows like dots like in the street, like where the street would be, because you're like moving it around, and I'd show dots, whatever. I don't take really any like truth in this. I'm thinking it's just some stupid thing, but it's Halloween night. I'm already doing my stuff.
Sure.
So I'm sitting there looking at the ghost app, and I'm sitting on our stoop right in front of our front door, and then all of a sudden, from inside the house, the door right behind me, I hear, and I about pooped my pants. I jumped up. I was like, "What the heck was that?" And at that same time, it showed a red dot behind me where I was sitting. Yeah. Think about that for a second. So here I'm looking at the ghost app. I hear this noise and I look, and it shows behind me where the door was a big red dot, like it was a ghost in the house. Now, you might be saying it was an animal and maybe there was someone in the house. Animals were not there. They were put away. My wife was gone with the kids. Back door was locked. All other entry into the house. There's no possible way that it was anybody in the house. So it pounds on the door, scares me to death. And I'm just trying to process, like, what in God's name is happening? Because normally, if I heard a noise, I would just open the door and be like, what was that? I was freaked out. I was too scared to open the door to go in. So I sat there, did the whole Halloween thing with my wife, and kids came back, and I kind of briefly went over that. But there's more to the story. Halloween night, everything's done. Kids are in bed. We're in bed finally. And as we're laying in bed, the door to our bedroom has like one of the wraparound like L bathrooms where you can get it from your room or you can get into it from the hallway kind of thing.
Sure, yeah. Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, though, in the middle of the night, that door just slammed shut like super hard. I jump out of bed. Leslie jumps out of bed, and we're like, "What was that?" So I'm like, "Okay, well, you know how when you have doors like that, if someone shuts one door, it can make the other door shut."
Right.
So I was thinking, the kids got out of bed and went to the bathroom, and that's what it was. So I get up and I check on them. They're both dead asleep. Nobody's up. And I looked at the other door, and it wasn't like shut, so it wasn't like some crazy thing where maybe there was wind, or I don't even know how that would happen, but it wasn't that. So now I'm thinking, crap, is there somebody like in our house? Like they slammed the door or whatever. So then I start go look through the house, thinking that there's someone broke in and slammed our door, ran for it. I didn't find anything. There was no evidence anybody had gotten into the house, nothing like that. So I told Leslie, hold on for a second. I went down to my basement. I got a 15-pound dumbbell and I put it in front of that door. And I said, Leslie, I swear to God, if that door shuts again, we're getting the hell out of here tonight. I can't handle that. Well, I'm happy to report nothing else happened that night. And I actually kept that dumbbell in front of that door for like the next year. I was terrified it was going to happen again. So I had that lock. Every night there was a dumbbell right there on that door holding it open so it couldn't be slammed shut. But yeah, that was super creepy. The whole Halloween thing, the whole ghost in the house, stairs up and down, the knock on the door behind me with the ghost app. And by the way, I deleted that ghost app like immediately when I was sitting outside. I'm like, that's going bye-bye. Don't need you in my life. Not today, Satan.
Not today.
But then that night, it happened with the door slamming, and it was crazy. Scared the crap out of me. But true story, though. True story.
Nope. Mm-mm.
No. Trust me, I didn't like hearing those noises for years either. Up and down the stairs and stuff. And I seriously, I mean, if you hear our story when I talked about mental illness during that time frame, I really thought like I had just made it up in my head. I honestly, because I mean, not that Leslie was trying to make fun of it or anything, but she was like, "You're probably just hearing something. There's no ghost in our house." And I'm like, maybe you're right. But Lauren came through for me again. She said, "Daddy, what was that noise coming up the stairs?" And that saved me from the brink of thinking I had lost my entire mind.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Ooh, so there's a lot of little things that led up to that final part of the story. But
man, oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's creepy. It's creepy. Yeah, I don't want to deal with it. All right. I so much don't want to deal with it that we're moving on back to you. So.
Okay.
What do you got?
Well, okay, so for my next epic tale, I'm going to take you to the east, to the
Going to the
far
east.
east. You know,
Okay.
okay. So when I was in college, I had the opportunity to do a lot of mission trips, like during the
Okay.
summer. Like my first summer, I went to Berlin,
Oh,
and
cool.
then Michelle and I got to go to Ireland one summer as well. But my sophomore year of
Yeah.
college, me and my best friend Trey, we got to go to Tokyo, Japan,
Oh, wow.
and yeah, it was such a really, really cool trip. And part of the things that we were doing with the missionaries that had, lived there for 20 something years
Mm-hmm.
was they wanted us to dress like Santa Claus. This is during Christmas break,
Okay.
this particular trip. Dress like Santa Claus, and we would hand out these Christmas Carol CDs. On
Oh, okay.
the on the CD, it had a whole bunch of Christmas carols in Japanese, and if they put it in their computer, because this is back in the day, they put it in their computer. It have like the Jesus video or Jesus story in Japanese and
Mm-hmm.
all this stuff, and so it just was basically a gospel presentation on a CD.
Right.
Um, and so they brought in some Americans to dress like Santa Claus, just to get, it's something they don't see every day. We got to experience Tokyo. We got to go up Tokyo Tower and just see
Oh,
just the
cool.
beautiful, the beautifulness. We did a ski retreat with some local Japanese students and stuff like that. So we got to go up in
Mm-hmm.
the mountains, and it was the first time ever that I got to go snowboarding. And let me just tell you, that is just not my calling in life. I hated every minute of it.
So you went
I,
snowboarding in Japan? That's
I
pretty
went
cool, though.
snowboarding. Yeah, it was really cool. But trying to get off the ski lift, I almost caused an international incident. just it's just like it was like ridiculous. And then I pushed Trey. I'm like, Trey, you pushed me getting off the thing, and he hadn't even touched me. Like I was trying to blame it on him, just as uncoordinated. He had skis, so his life was a little bit easier. But
Okay.
and so we're snowboarding and skiing and stuff, and so I just basically ended up just taking off the board and just using it like a just sat on it and just went down the bunny hills, just wee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's
probably
how it
what I
ended
would
up.
have done too. Yeah.
But like I said, we were dressed up when we were in Tokyo. We were dressed up like Santa Claus for a lot of it, handing out these CDs and stuff. And I remember this one day, we were in this one part of town that had a whole bunch of kids that were really into anime. It was like the anime part of the city. It was really
Mm-hmm.
cool. If you're into anime, I mean, this is the place to be. And the kids there were just, I mean, super cool. This was 20 years ago, 20
Okay.
something years ago. So this is back in the 2003. So it's a while ago, to give my age there. And so we're hanging out, and I wasn't dressed like Santa on this particular day.
Yeah.
But I was just, hanging out, and I see these kids, and I want to give them a CD, but they're shielding their eyes from the sun because it was like super bright. And there's times as a believer that you just feel the Holy Spirit just tell you to do something.
Oh, yeah.
And this particular time, I felt that I needed to give my sunglasses that I was wearing to this one girl, because she was shielding her eyes, and so I give it to her and just say, this
Mm-hmm.
is a present. And she's like, oh, thank you. Something like really sweet and stuff. And then I give her a CD, and I'm like, just, hey, if you get time, just listen to it, whatever.
Yeah.
And so we go on our way. And that night we go to the busiest part of the town. If you've seen it on movies, it's like this crosswalk. And then every time that the crosswalk changes, literally 20,000 people walk from every direction at once.
Yes,
At
I
that
have seen
time,
that.
yeah. In Tokyo Drift, they drift through the people going around the corner there. The world's largest Starbucks was right there in that building. We would just sit there and just watch people. It was crazy. It's just like really, really cool thing.
That is crazy.
And so we were hanging out in that part of town that night, just sightseeing, hanging out in Starbucks, going into really cool stores and stuff like that. Well, we're going to get back on the subway to go back to our hotel. At this point in time, I couldn't tell you how the subways worked in Tokyo.
Right.
And so we're getting there, and Trey cannot find his subway ticket. Like, he cannot find it. And so I'm like, everybody goes through the gates, and I see that he's struggling. And so I yell, I was like, hey guys, hold up. Trey doesn't have his ticket. Give us a second. And so I turn around and look, watch him try to find it. He finds it. He scans in, and then we go through the gate, and then we realize I have no idea. I was watching him. I wasn't watching where they were going.
Oh,
and
no.
we're just alone in Tokyo in like one of the busiest sections in the whole city. And there are two different ways to go. You can go left, you can go right. And so we go right, which was wrong. We go, and there's just we go to the subway deck, and there's just a sea of people, like just shoulder to shoulder, thousands of people waiting to get on this subway. I mean, it is crazy. And so we're going through, I'm looking for everybody. I'm not seeing anybody. Thankfully, I'm 6'2", so I'm taller than most people there. And so, I'm head and shoulders over. And all of a sudden, I'm in a place like that I'm not supposed to be in when there's thousands and thousands of people. I feel somebody tag on my jacket, and I look down, and there's this Japanese girl, and she has the biggest smile on her face.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, and my first reaction, okay, this is before, Seth Rogen was famous or Chris Pratt. And so back when I was in high school, people said, and in college, back when I was in college, people said that I resembled country legend Toby Keith.
Okay, I can see a little bit of that. Yeah,
I love this bar. It's my kind of place, And so, because I have, a beard, and this is this is the height of his popularity, right?
Got it.
He's also one we lost to cancer this last year. But he, so I'm thinking, oh, she thinks I'm, somebody famous or whatever, just, but all of a sudden, I look down, she's smiling at me. And then she just pulls out my sunglasses.
Oh,
and
no
I'm
way.
Like, what? Like I said, I'm in a place that I'm not supposed to be in the middle of a sea of people.
Right.
And I find this girl that I probably should have never seen again, because Tokyo has 37 million people. It's the most populated city in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And so, and here she is, and she has the biggest smile on her face, and she pulls out my sunglasses, and she pulls out the CD that she had from earlier, and she was like, I'm going to listen to it. And I'm like, awesome. And then she tries to give me back my sunglasses. I'm like, no, that was for you. That's for you.
Gift.
Yeah, that's a gift. And I mean, I tell you what, I have goosebumps right now, just thinking about this story, and just how that was like God just telling me, hey, you were obedient. You did something random that didn't really make sense. Who gives away sunglasses just to a random person that you're,
right.
But since you were obedient, I'm just going to bless this. I don't know what happened after that. But it was just really cool, and just almost like a life-changing moment for me, just knowing that, okay, I did what I was supposed to do, and I actually got to see something really cool because of that.
Absolutely. That's really cool. Then, but how'd you guys get out of there, though?
That's what I was about to say.
Okay.
We ran, and we went to the other side, and that's where they were. And we barely got on the train that they got on. And I'll tell you this, Trey and myself, we would have still been in Tokyo to this day if we had. I'm telling you. But yeah, that was just a really cool trip.
Yeah, that is a crazy story, especially with how many people were down there.
Yes. Yeah. And so
that's awesome.
That's just one of those special moments in my life that I'll never forget.
Yeah, that's a great one. You're welcome. You're welcome. Now, my next story doesn't have as much hope or glory to it. It's just more humiliating and funny, but that's what
Hey, bring it. That's what we need.
That's the path I'm on today. So,
yep.
as being a owner of a travel agency that we talked about, we mentioned a couple episodes ago, we travel a ton.
Right.
Me and my wife, we're gone constantly, probably too much, but anyhow, it's just part of the business. We were on a Royal Caribbean cruise with some of our agents. It was for an inaugural. So when a brand new cruise ship comes out, they'll put like, I don't know, a couple thousand travel agents on a 3-day cruise, so you can get to experience the ship and check it out, all the fun things, and go back and share it with people to get them excited to book this cruise ship. So I'm trying to forget where everybody was at. It was prior to dinner time. And they were, I think we were at Perfect Day at Coco Cay, at Royal Caribbean's private island, for people who don't know. But if you want to know, we can get you there. Don't forget exclusivetravelpartners.com.
That's right.
Okay. So anyhow, I think some people, they were on the ship and then they left to go back out because it had rained that day, and they wanted to go out and do a couple of the slides one more time or whatever. And so, when I'm on a cruise ship, even as much as I try, I'm always a glutton. I want to eat all the food. I mean, I'm just going to keep it real. I love eating all the different places, especially this being like a new ship and I hadn't tried some of the things. So on Royal Caribbean, most of the ships by the pool, they have this burrito place, and they serve tacos and quesadillas, burritos, like it's a little Mexican grab and go right by the pool. Well, I'm walking by it and I see it and I'm like, oh, there's only like 2 people in line. I was like, I'm going to hook myself up with one of those big fat burritos. And they rolled up big, like Chipotle, they're like huge. That, and I think I got a Coke or something like that. So, I grabbed the stuff and I'm going to head back to my room to eat the stuff before dinner or whatever. And so before I get into the rest of the story, people need to know about me is, I usually wear shorts a lot of the times we're on cruises because we're in a warm area. And another thing you need to know about me is I always put so much stuff in my pockets, like abnormal amount of things. It's actually a joke with all our friends in our company. At any point in my left pocket, I could have 6 to 7 items, and they range from like a portable toothbrush to different kinds of lip care, combs, Pepto-Bismol, chewable. You never know when you're going to need it. And so what happens is, if I don't have my shorts tied up, sometimes, if you just keep walking and you don't have your hands in your pocket, they can start drooping down a little bit. So anyhow, I get my food, and as soon as I get the food, so I have the soda in one hand, the burrito in the other hand, all of a sudden I get that little feeling in my stomach, like, oh, that's a warning sign that you need to get to a bathroom soon. And it started doing it again, like blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh no, something. And I have got to book it to my room. So I get to my floor and I have the food in my hand. And as soon as I get outside, like on a cruise ship, there's big elevator bays, so you have like 4 elevators on one side, 4 on the other. And then it branches off into the hallways where people's staterooms are. So as soon as I leave to go around the corner from the elevator bays, there's nobody around, and I let out like the loudest fart in the world. Like I had been holding it in because I was around so many people that I fart so loud. I was like, oh my God. As I turn around, I noticed there's a guy who comes around the corner right as I did that, right? So this guy clearly hears me like rip the loudest fart ever. So I'm like, oh God, that's not good. And these hallways for staterooms, by the way, they can go on forever. I mean, they are long hallways. It's not like there's like 2 rooms. There's hundreds of rooms. And I happen to be down at the far end. So as I'm walking, I'm walking real fast. Then the faster I walk, the more I fart. So I'm just like, walk, it's like constant farting. But what I noticed, though, is that the faster I walk and the more I fart, the faster the guy walks behind me. And he's like, I'm walking super fast, trying to hold this stuff. I mean, I'm just tearing it up the whole way. And he is like on me. I'm like, what the heck is this guy doing? Like, if I was behind someone who was just ripping farts the entire time and walking quickly, probably for a reason, I would I'd back up and maybe just go the other way. No, this guy just continues to pursue me. So on top of that, the faster I walk, now my pants are starting to come down because of the weight of all this stuff in my pockets. They're starting to shimmy down halfway. I'm trying to grab them, but I'm also holding that Coke and that burrito, and I'm just farting the entire time. Now I'm doing it. The guy is on me. Like, I can hear him. I can feel him. He's like just right behind me. So I'm walking faster. He's walking faster. I'm farting nonstop. My pants are coming down even further right now. Now my right butt cheek is completely exposed because the shorts have come all the way down. And I'm walking, and the guy is still on me, Billy. Like,
what in the world?
Faster I walk, the guy is just on me, like he's gonna kill me or something. And like I said, more I walk, more I fart, and the more I fart, the guy's right behind me. And then the faster I walk, my pants come down. I am like 5 seconds from being completely nude from the waist down in this hallway if I don't get to my room fast. I finally am approaching my room, and the guy is like on me. Like I said, he's just on me the entire time. You can just feel someone behind you. That's the way it was. And so finally, I get to the door, and I just chuck the food, open the door, and head into the bathroom. And, the rest is history with that. But it was the craziest, most awkward situation ever.
Did he just keep walking by, or just?
Yeah, he didn't say a word. He just kept trucking. I mean, maybe he had to go to the bathroom. I mean, maybe he was as desperate as I was.
Oh my gosh!
But,
yeah, like I thought, oh, you dropped something. He's just chasing after you to give you back something, and like
right,
reap the consequences of this good hero deed. But no, he just made it awkward, huh?
Oh my god! And that's the whole thing. Like, it's more awkward. He's on me. I'm going fast. I'm still farting the entire time.
Then you had a Dumb and Dumber experience, and
yes, yeah, pretty much. And then my pants were coming off on top of it. Like I said, my whole right butt cheek was exposed because the weight of it had pulled down that and my underwear. And I seriously
the saw hooks and bottoms, man.
So, I'm telling you, saw hooks and bottom nudity is how we get down. But yeah, as soon as I was done, I went back to Leslie, and she was crying. I was crying. It was so freaking funny. I told her story many times. Actually, I told her at dinner that night because everyone's like, "Tell us about your dad." And Leslie's like, "You have to tell them." I was like, "I can't tell them this story. Are you kidding me?" She's like, "No, you have to tell them." So,
and now it's going to live in infamy on the internet forever.
Yes. So, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh man!
Like I said, tall tales, except they're all real. Unfortunately,
they're all real because you can't make that up.
Nope, and I would not want to. But just the fact that dude would not back. I mean,
what in the world?
It's not like I could hear him. Like he was like 5 doors behind, but he was on me, like step for step, fart for fart.
Give me 50 feet.
Yeah. Maybe he was thinking back that thing up. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
So, yeah, it's just a crazy story. Like you said, saw hooks and keeping your bottoms on. That's funny. All right, Billy. Let's see how your story was about Jesus blessing your life, and this is me just trying not to poop myself and not be attacked by a guy in the hallway. So,
gosh.
So sorry about. Sorry, God. I didn't mean to follow up your story with
no. That's what the people needed to hear.
I don't know if they needed to, but they did.
They just heard it one way or the other. It's out there.
It's out there. That's awesome.
Oh my
All right,
gosh,
Billy, what do you got?
All right, so my next story, we're taking it back to high school again.
Okay.
And so like I said earlier, I lived in Big Point, Mississippi for a large part of my childhood and have a core of friends there. Now, Big Point, Mississippi is the country, okay? It is, I mean, not a lot out there. It's the country. There's a lot of, large fields, plant nurseries out there, all these different things. And so that's where I grew up. And so as kids do for entertainment, what we would go do is we would go roll people, be a little mischievous, where we throw, for those that don't know what that means, throw toilet paper in their trees
Okay.
And we would
I
go
pictured you
roll.
literally rolling people. I'm like, what were you guys
Yeah,
doing?
we just take them and throw them down the hill is what we do. No, that's what you do in the country. Just take them
just
and throw them down the hill. No, and so
Yes.
we would go around and we would. There was this one particular house. I have no idea who lived there, but it was a really easy target, and so that was kind of like the one we would, always go to.
You did this to this person's house many times?
Yeah, quite a few times.
Okay.
And they would always have it cleaned up like pretty quickly. So, it is what it is. But this is a side story to amp up to the real story. It's a really cool story too. I just thought about this. But we a lot of times also would roll our friends. And one of the girls that was one of my sister's best friends, and she was in our youth group and everything. We decided, hey, we're going to go roll them. We're going to go roll her house one night, and so we just buy the normal amount of toilet paper that we normally would, and we go there, and we're about to get started, and you have to be really almost like ninjas, right?
Well, yeah.
We throw a couple of rolls in the trees, and then I remember her telling me earlier in the week that her neighbor had just gotten robbed. That fact hit me while we were, in the middle or just about to start this whole this whole situation, right? And so I'm like, guys, we have got to get out of here because I'm sure everybody's on high alert. I don't want people coming out shooting, thinking somebody, if a neighbor gets robbed, I don't want anything to do, with that.
Oh, yeah.
And so we just take off, right? We just leave. Didn't think anything about it. I mean, she has like one or two strings of toilet paper in the trees. Well, years later, her mom was sharing a story at church. They were having like a women's conference. And the story got back to me where her mom was sharing this story. They were struggling financially, and they had enough food to last them. And she was just praying that night. She was like, Lord, I have enough food. We're good until payday on that, but I don't have enough money to buy toilet paper.
You're making this up.
100% on my life. On my life.
Okay.
And we show up and left all the toilet paper right there. And she woke up the next morning after praying that, and here's all this toilet paper, dry as could be.
No way.
Just waiting for her. Okay. I mean, again, goosebumps. My hair is just standing up. Oh, goodness gracious. But yeah, so God provided using our mischievousness, whatever. Well, let me tell you a story. This is the main story that I was going to tell you that it was not a God thing. It just was a funny thing. Okay. Like I said, my best friend Trey, he grew up on his house had this huge field. Basically almost, if you would, like a farm. I mean, they had a barn, they had a couple of horses, lots of trees, a very, very long driveway.
Okay.
And so their house sat back, a couple acres from the road. And then even further behind, they lived on the river. The river was back there. And so, he would fish. It was a really cool place to grow up.
It sounds really cool.
Yeah. And I mean, we spent all of our time over at his house, and really cool place. And so one night we decide that we're going to get a huge group of people.
Okay.
I mean, usually it was just my core friends, but we were going to roll Trey, which was kind of odd for me just because he wasn't involved, because he was always, right there with me. But we were going to roll him, and the word got out. This is one of those situations, and there was so many kids. And we went out and we bought out all of the toilet paper at Walmart beforehand. I mean, we bought tons. We had so much, and we were all dressed out, like just dressed in black. We bought thousands and thousands of Q-tips, and we threw those down his driveway all the way down. We went and bought a poster board. This was on Thanksgiving break. We bought a poster board and we made this big sign that said Happy Thanksgiving, Erica, which was his sister's name. And we put it on the back of her car.
Oh my God.
And so, I mean, we rolled him like you would not believe. It was just like it had snowed out, like just covered his whole field, all the trees just covered in toilet paper. It was spectacular. I mean, when you with that large of a group, we threw down some money in the grand scheme of things. It was
right.
It was amazing. Well, the next day, Erica's out there cleaning it up because, they all thought that it was her friends that did it. And so she was responsible for cleaning it up. And so what a lot of people did was to clean up, they would just burn it. Like they would just light it on fire and it would just go, up,
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. It would just, it would just burn up. The only thing was it was during a drought.
Oh.
And she set that thing on fire and set her whole field, the whole front yard on fire.
Oh my gosh.
And so we're like the whole fire department is out there, like putting out this fire. And we're like, oh my gosh, we can never tell a soul that we did this.
Yeah, exactly. So you put it on the podcast.
So,
I see.
Yeah, so I did. Well, so we all got, like, our core friends got together and okay, we're going to tell him the night we graduate from high school. That's okay. So, we made that decision and then we chickened out. We're not going to do it. Okay. We're not going to do it.
Okay.
Well, years later, Trey was my roommate in college as well. And, we were just talking and I just, hey, that one time that Erica set your field on fire? And he's like, yeah. I just told him that was us.
Oh my God.
He was furious. He was so mad. I don't know if he was more mad the fact that we said, we caused his field to catch on fire or the fact that he wasn't involved in, but yeah. And so for years we kept that a secret, but he knows the truth now. I don't know if he ever told Erica or not, if it was us or not, but
hopefully didn't tell their parents either.
But yeah, it was one of those things that just the incredibleness of the job that we did, and then the craziness of the setting it on fire. So, yep.
And let's also talk about your stupidity level by doing that to some people's houses. How cruel!
Oh no, but it was that was always a fun adventure, I guess.
Oh, that's a good story.
Thank you.
I can't believe that. Here, by the way, in Ohio and probably everywhere else, it's called TPing somebody's house.
Yeah, you could do TP. Yeah, that plays down here as well.
That's the most common term, I think.
Yeah, I guess that way you don't get it.
You hillbillies talk about rolling things. I thought you were talking about rolling your friends down a hill or something.
Yeah, no, rolling papers, if you know what I mean. It's not that.
Yep. Oh gosh, you're more trouble than I thought, Billy. And I'm here for it.
Yeah.
All right. We'll keep this bad boy moving. I'll give you my final story today before we wrap up.
All right.
So the year would have been 2001. And I mentioned earlier with one of my stories about Halloween, how much I love Halloween and doing all the things. Well, I also had a group of people, about 6 different people, friends who were super into Halloween, loved the scary stuff. So we decided that we were going to start our own haunted house. And we'd have it go. We started it actually at our first house, and we had the whole backyard decorated, and we actually bought real big, huge, thick things of plastic that you could roll. So we made our own walls and all that kind of crazy stuff. And we had people to go through. I mean, we had just random strangers just come through our house, and someone was like Freddy Krueger coming down the hallway, and I was always Michael Myers. I was always that guy for all the Halloween. Oh, yeah. So we did that. We did that for a lot of time at our house before moving it, because it was getting a little too insane or having at our house. But we'd have lines down the block.
Oh wow!
For people to get in that. And then Leslie'd always sit in the front yard with like we had a little TV, and she'd play like kids videos so they could watch while the parents went through. We're very professional.
That was really good. Yeah,
it was. And then we ended up moving it to my friend's house, and same thing. We built it up. It was crazy, a lot of fun. Again, we had lines down the street for people to come. It was always for free. It was just something for us to do.
Fun.
And then we finally wanted to move it one more time to my sister's house. She wanted us to do a haunted house for their kids for trick or treat and all that kind of stuff. Well, that year that we were at my sister's house, it was, like I said, it was Luke's first Halloween. So he's dressed up in this cute little big Dumbo outfit, and oh, he's so adorable. And and so Leslie had walked around with her parents with Luke at their house. I wasn't there because I was setting up the Halloween thing. Then she came over and joined us. She was there for a little bit, and the haunted house was winding down a bit, and we were just all kind of hanging out. And she's like, "I'm taking the baby and I'm going home." And I was like, "All right, I'll be home in a while." But she said, "On your way home, can you please pick up some baby formula for Luke?" And so, anybody who feeds baby formula, they've done it 10,000 times. Right. And the things that they come in, it was Similac, and it was like bigger than like the old metal coffee containers used to be. The big old coffee tins. It was bigger than that. It was all metal. And so, being the good husband that I am, I did stop on the way home. I didn't forget. And I picked up the can of baby formula. So I pull into our house. It's probably about 11 o'clock or so by this point because it's a big, long night. And I go to get out of the car, and I'm grabbing stuff with my left hand, and I'm trying to grab some stuff with my right hand. So I grab the bag, and as I get out of the car, I shut the door. And, sometimes you have a bag, you just kind of swing it over your shoulder or whatever, because I had like a backpack or something too.
Right.
And I do that. As I go to swing it, the momentum of that big metal can swings around, hits me in the back of the head, and knocks me clean out in my front yard. I am knocked the out in the front yard, completely down. Yes. So I'm laying there, and then I come to, and here's the thing: our house was on a really busy street. Matter of fact, there was a stop sign literally right in front of our driveway. So I don't know how people had to see me laying there. I don't know if they thought it was like a Halloween prank or maybe
probably
a decoration and stuff like that. So when I come to finally, I stumble into the house, and I tell Leslie, like, I just woke up. I was knocked out in the front yard. I think maybe somebody mugged me, maybe. So we're checking for my wallet and stuff. Everything's there. And like, it wasn't that. And then I start to think about, the coffee, or not the coffee, but the baby formula. Thank you.
Yeah.
Baby formula. I swung it around, and it must have hit me in the back of the head. I don't remember how we came to that conclusion, how we figured it out there in that moment, because I was so confused and out of it. And so I didn't go to work the next day, and I just was feeling awful. My head hurt so bad, just kind of nauseous and stuff.
Sure.
And so we had to go to the doctor to get diagnosed for what was going on. So the thing was, Leslie had to go to work, so she wasn't able to take me. But my best friend Matt, he was coming over to pick me up. And so I just got ready and all cleaned up, and all of a sudden the door knocks. Open the door. I'm like, "Hey Matt, what are you doing here?" He's like, "You don't remember why I'm here? I'm here to take you to the hospital to get you checked out." And he still tells the story to the day, how like he was dying laughing because I was like, "Hey, what are you doing here in the middle of the day? Hey, buddy, come on in." Yeah, I was so excited. And so we go to the hospital. They diagnosed me with having a concussion. So
there you go.
I concussed myself with a can of baby formula by swinging it over my shoulder, and it had to have been more mild because the concussion I have now has been lasting like 4.5, almost 5 months.
Right. Yeah.
But I was out of work for a week because of the concussion, though. And so I asked my wife, "Can you please call in and tell them that I'm out of work because I had a concussion?" Now, Leslie had two choices. She could have told the real story, or she could have made up any other story. Like he was on the ladder on the house trying to do something and he fell over. He was saving a baby from a car and it hit him, anything. But she instead calls, and it happened to be on a speakerphone in my boss's office because they're having a meeting with a bunch of people. She tells him I knocked myself out with a can of baby formula. So, of course, I didn't live that down ever because everybody at work's like, how did you knock yourself out? It was awful. But to this day, it goes down as one of my funniest, crazy stories. I mean, what are the odds? Like, honestly, what are the odds of that happening?
Oh, my goodness gracious.
So, yeah, I got a concussion from a can of baby formula. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed our tall tales, except they're all real stories today. I had a lot of fun hearing your stories, Billy.
Thank you. Me too.
They cracked me up. But I hope everyone today had a fun time listening to our random crazy stories. Before we let you go, we got to tell you that you still have time to get your reviews in, because remember, we had the contest, Billy. You want to tell them a little bit about that?
That's right. If you go on to Apple Podcast, you go on that app and follow us, subscribe to our page or whatever, and leave a 5-star written review, you get entered into win of one of 2 Amazon gift cards.
Yeah, and who doesn't want free Amazon cash?
Come on. It's just like money.
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 And since we announced this a couple weeks ago, we've had more people leave some ratings and reviews, and we really appreciate that. But we're trying to do a final push, not for the end of the time for getting reviews. We'll still ask you for those, but just for this contest. So get out there after you hear this. Even if you really don't like us, just go put a 5-star review, written review, and you have a chance of winning a $25 gift card.
That's right.
But I guarantee you, if you're listening, I'm sure you like us.
Yeah, especially if you made it this far into it.
Yeah, if you've come this far on the journey, then we think you might like us. So
you might like us.
You just might like us. We like you.
Yeah, we do.
We would leave a review for you too at your job if you just let us know. We'll be happy to. If you're like on TripAdvisor or something like that. We're happy to support you in return.
That's right. That's how we do.
So anyhow, get out there, put in your reviews, have a chance to win that contest that ends at the end of the month. We'll pick a couple names and have some lucky winners.
This was a fun one, man. This was a fun one.
It was. I think some of our best ones are ones that we just kind of pull out and don't fully plan, but just have some stories and go with it. So anyhow, again, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for coming here today, downloading and listening to another amazing episode of All the Everything Podcast. I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, y'all.